Hello everybody and welcome to Professional Beauty's Virtual Beauty Week. I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties that we've been having. It's always the way, but we have got our second session for the day ready for you, and it's the wonderful Justyna Rostek, who is the director of Guinot Salon in Earlsfield, and today she will be talking us through the step-by-step of doing a brilliant online consultation and how this can help boost your retail sales during this weird time that's quite surreal. So Justyna, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you. Hello everyone. So I've already been introduced, but I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about myself. So if I could get the slide 2 please, page 2. So this is me. I have had my salon, my Guinot franchise, for the last 4 years in London. I've got over 15 years in industry experience. Always worked in beauty salons all around central and southwest London, and I'm in the same boat as many salon owners or many therapists are up and down the country, which is that a week ago I had been ordered to close. So I'm in the same boat as everyone. We are not allowed to do any services, treat our clients. And as much as you might be thinking, right, this is a time for me to maybe finally get on with some admin or maybe do a deep clean of the salon, maybe it needs some decorating. That's all right. But for the time being, we don't know whether the lockdown will be 3 weeks, sometimes 12 weeks is mentioned, or even longer. So with that in mind, I think we need to plan long term. What are you going to do? How are you going to check in with your clients? How are you going to see them? And I can see that there's a lot of content online, salons that have been inactive online for a long time. They're now posting videos and masks. Now, if your clients have not engaged with your online content up until this stage, do not expect them to suddenly engage. Some of them might, because they're maybe online a little bit more, but what they are used to is they are used to a one-to-one contact. So this is where online consultations are basically a plan for your business, a long-term plan for your business. So if we have to be in this lockdown for 12 weeks or longer, how are we going to generate some turnover? And we can do this through retail. And the slide also mentions that I've always been passionate about retail. My salons, I've worked in salons where we worked with 50% retail ratio. Currently, it's on about 30%. So almost a third of the sales in the salon come from retail sales. You will also see that I'm a Guinot franchise, which means that I'm tied to one brand. I cannot take on new trends and new treatments as I please. So the dermaplaning and the brow lamination and all of the services that are popping up as new things on the market, I cannot do them. So for me, retail has always been a way of generating extra income. If we go to the slide 3, please, I just want to show you a big number that should really bring it home. £500 is the amount that an average British woman will spend annually on skincare and makeup. Now, I predict in the coming weeks or months even, this number will be going up. Maybe not as much for makeup, because we are not doing makeup. We're mostly staying inside. I mean, every now and then, if you want to look good for a Zoom call, yes, put makeup on. But the reality is that we will mostly be staying makeup free, which means that skincare is where we will be spending that money. And because our clients will not be going out, will not be going on holiday, the only treat that they can give themselves is maybe a great bubble bath, a lovely candle. So all of these things, a face mask, all of these things are where you can help and you can stand It has been mentioned to me on a few groups. There's questions about whether this is a time to sell, whether you should be pushing sales, where, you know, it's a scary time, people are stressed for their safety, for their families. But on the whole, I think if you think about it, I think we need some positivity. If you can't go on holiday, you need to treat yourself some other way. If you can't visit your beauty salon, you need to find a way to treat yourself. So don't think that this is not a time to sell if it doesn't sit right with you, because you will be providing clients with something to look forward to, even if it is just a face mask to do at home. Another thing is about the money worry. As business owners, salon owners, we worry about whether we're able to keep our business going, about premises and costs. We worry about everyone we have on the payroll, you know, and you've noticed now that the government is helping us. The same goes for your clients. They are getting that same amount of help. So your clients will be getting the mortgage holidays, and they will be getting the salary. Some of them, a lot of my clients for sure, the nature of the work is that they are not in service-based industry, so they're able to continue as normal just by working from home, which is obviously for us as therapists not an option. So we often don't think about everyone else. We don't put ourselves in our client's shoes, and I think this is the time to do that. So don't feel bad for trying to sell yourself, your business, for trying to keep your business alive by selling, because your clients will still have money. So definitely don't let that stop you. There's a few reasons why you should decide on online consultations. Definitely for staying connected, if you could pop to page 4. So staying connected with your clients, like I said, don't leave them hanging. You know, just posting a few videos online doesn't give them that one-to-one connection. You've worked with some of my clients, and I'm sure many of you have done as well. I have worked very hard to build up a rapport. I've been treating some of my clients that have followed me from my old salons to my current salon. They have followed me, some of them, for over 10 years. So we've worked on building that relationship. Let's not let that drop. So let's stay connected. I think staying connected one-on-one, where of course you'll be doing skincare consultation, but your clients might also want to offload some of the other issues in their life, like they do during a facial appointment. So definitely think about the one-to-one consultation for those reasons. It's also a great way to educate your client, because you're offering a very unique way, a tailored approach to home care. We are always concentrating on services and on treating our clients when they are with us in the salon. We may or may not recommend products to take home, but that's where it ends. We have no idea what they do with those products once they get home. So this is your way to get an insight into what they have at home, how they use it, and help to educate them about the use of skincare. Because for us as therapists, a lot of the things we just take for granted. I've been always passionate about beauty. You know, my eyelash curlers are my best friend, but I still have clients coming in, ladies that might be older than me, and they've never used a lash curler. So as a beauty person, as a beauty fanatic, as a therapist, you always think, well, everyone knows how to do their eyebrows and use eyelash curlers and how much eye cream to put on. But that's not necessarily true. So educating on one-to-one basis. Another reason is the continued growth of your business. So as I mentioned, we don't know how long the lockdown may last, as much as we've got our current client base, and we don't want any of them, we don't want to lose contact with any of them. But this is a way to continue growing your client base. The word of mouth still works, probably more than ever. We've got more time to chat to our friends than ever before. So your clients will still be doing that. So if they're having a problem with their skin and they've had a great one-to-one consultation with you that helps their skin, they will tell their friends. And they will tell their friends, oh, did you hear that salon, this and this salon is doing this great service? Call them, have a one-to-one meeting with a therapist, and they'll tell you what to do. So it's also a way of growing your business, of kind of thinking ahead when we go back to our salons, hopefully. And obviously, the main reason why you should think about offering online consultations is to sell retail products. Slide number, page 5, please, Chloe. So the reason being, let's not beat around the bush. We're not doing these to have chit-chat with a client. We're not doing these because we've got nothing else or better to do. We're doing these to save our business, to make sure that after all of this craziness, madness, sadness has blown over, we come out the other side stronger than ever. And retail is where it's at. And as therapists, there's always a huge excuse about online retailers and how they steal our sales. Now, don't let them steal any more of your sales by hiding away. So be very clear, you're doing these online consultations to sell retail products to save your business. Now I'm going to take you, page 6 please, Chloe. I'm going to take you through a step-by-step online consultation, because there are some differences to your normal in-salon consultation. So you've got 4 steps, and you really need to make sure that you plan this a little bit more, so it's not just about your client coming through the door, popping in, and you've got everything there because you're used to working from a salon environment that's built around doing consultations and doing treatments, so you've got everything to hand. It'll be very important that you really think this through, organize yourself before you actually launch them to your clients. So moving on to step 1, page 7 of our presentation, the preparation. So firstly, you have to think about software and what are you going to use. Now, as you already saw at the beginning of this webinar, that can be a tricky thing. Everyone is online, which means that the connections are slow, there's glitches, computers are saying no. So figure out a way that you're able to do these consultations for your clients, but it has to be easy, accessible. Do not make it overcomplicated. If they use Zoom before, great, go for a Zoom, but at the end of the day, if it's just going to be a straightforward FaceTime, a video call on WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, whatever works, make it as easy and as accessible as to your clients as possible. So don't overcomplicate things. Don't go for fancy online meeting softwares where, you know, then nothing works. So make it easy. Think about what you want to use. And then a second step of preparation is to prepare your client. So I've done a few of these online consultations already, and once we book the time, we select a time slot that suits us both, I then will message my client or email my client with what I would like them to do before we start. So I will ask them to make sure that they've got clean washed hands, maybe have a hand sanitizer to hand. I will ask them to have a mirror, a small mirror, maybe make sure that they're sitting in front of a bigger mirror. Just a little handheld compact will be fine. You'll want them to sit in a well-lit room just for the lighting. Not that you'll be maybe analysing the skin in the traditional way, but you still want to be able to see them. And then ask them as well to have all of the current skincare and what they're using at home. Ask them to just have that to hand, so you can help them and go through it. So yourself as well, you have to be prepared. So make sure that you've got your little setup for your consultations. So I make sure I've got my notebook and pen, because I'm working from home and I'm still on the old style paper consultations. Because of GDPR, I cannot take them out of the salon. So you're kind of starting fresh with anyone you see. So make sure you've got something to make your notes. I have all of my testers from the salon with me. I have a mirror as well. I have things like tissues and cotton wool. I have beauty prescriptions. So I've got little pages that we do as Guinot, but I know a lot of brands do those. So little prescriptions where you can make your recommendations for clients. So I have it all to hand, and that's your preparation step. So make sure you warn your client to prep ahead, but so you're prepared as well. Now we move on to page 8, so the consultation stage. Now with the consultation, your first part of the consultation will be just as normal. So just as you would normally be. Basically, this is your time to listen and ask questions. So ask your clients questions about the current routine and products. Now this will be made easy because we've asked them to have all of their skincare ready and available. So you can ask them to go through all of the products that they're currently using. How do they use it? How much of every product they use? Really go in depth about what they're currently doing. And a second stage of the listing stage will be also to check with your clients about their lifestyle and diet. Now, where you may think you know your clients, and I don't question that, I'm sure you do, but for a lot of us, our lifestyle and diet has unfortunately changed because of the times we're in. So check in with your client. Are they working from home? How long are they spending in front of their desk? You know, it's still cold. Is the central heating on all the time? Do they definitely take that hour a day to go outside and exercise? Do they make the most of that hour that we're allowed to be out? How is their diet? Are they still having, 3 meals or kind of structure to their day when it comes to diet and their meals? Or is it more about snacking, maybe watching a bit more telly as well? So that's where snacking comes in. You can see online as well, a lot of people are having a little bit more to drink because they're not having to be out and about or in the office every day. So do check. Don't assume you know what your clients are doing, because it has changed for all of us. So treat every client as if they were new. Once you've done all of your listening and your questioning, it's time to analyze the skin. Now, this would be very easy when you're in the salon. You just bring the magnifying light over, you cleanse the skin, you can have a good look and see. This is where your client needs to be your eyes on the ground. I mean, you can try to do it on the screen, but frankly, you cannot see the detail, the amount of details. You would normally use magnifying lamp to do those. Well, you cannot see the detail by just doing a FaceTime call. So you will ask your clients this is where the mirror comes in. You will ask them to hold up a mirror and tell you what they can see. Can they see lines? Can they see pigmentation? Can they see redness? Ask them exactly what they can see. Don't ask them to make descriptions about what their skin is. You just want them to describe how it looks. And then once they've done the looking, then ask them to touch their skin. So sanitize hands, clean hands, touch the skin. And you're asking them for texture. So whether it feels rough or smooth or uneven, bumpy, swollen, all of this kind of descriptions. That's what you're looking for. You'll ask the clients to maybe check with the back of their hand, check the temperature of the skin as well. So are any areas of the face hotter than others? Things like that. Make sure that you're asking the clients to give you a description of their skin. Try and not feed them the answers as well, because again, you may assume with some of your regulars that you know their skin, so you might be feeding them you might be assuming that it always feels dehydrated and dry, so it always feels a bit rough. Don't be tempted to feed them that answer. So make sure you allow them to talk at this time. The skin analysis, where in the salon you would be looking at the skin and telling them, in this scenario, it's still your time to listen. And with the consultation online, what is very important is not to be client-led, because I've looked at different online tools that are available for clients to self-diagnose or do consultations that are normally done by AI. But literally you can decide from the get-go. I can decide, although my skin is dehydrated, I can decide that my skin is oily, and I can feed the AI those answers so it comes up with a diagnosis that my skin is oily. So you as a therapist, do not let this consultation be client-led. Do not let them tell you what their skin type is. A great example of that, I've had that happen in the salon, but just to give you an example of what you might come across, I had a client come in with a lot of redness and breakout around their mouth area, so mouth, chin, almost going through the top lip and almost reaching her nose. The lady came in assuming that it was a hormonal breakout. It started 3 months back or 2 months back. She all of a sudden switched her skincare to kind of acne prone and making sure and using products for oiliness. And 2 months later, she was with me in the salon coming in and saying, well, this breakout started 2 months ago. I'm doing everything. I'm treating it as oily skin. I'm using spot control products. Nothing is working. I need help. I had a chat with her. We figured out when it started, how it started. I had a look at the skin. And what I saw is where you looked past the little spots, you actually saw red skin that was looking quite irritated and sore. And through the chat and looking at her skin, I actually figured out that she had perioral dermatitis. Now, of course, as therapists, we're not allowed to diagnose, so it's not something I would maybe tell the client. But I knew at that moment in time that she was suffering from dermatitis so bad that it made her skin break out. As soon as I've done soothing treatment and switched her to soothing skincare, she was fine. So this is what I'm telling you. If you had a client like that, call on a phone call consultation. They might still tell you, where I've had a breakout, I've got oily skin, what are we going to do about it? And if you don't really dig deep to figure out what's happening, you might let yourself be client-led and continue of that path of oily skin. So make sure you still do your job. It's harder to do our job when you can't touch the skin or look at the skin, but make sure you still do your job and you analyze the skin. You decide what's best for the client's skin. Don't let them tell you what's best for their skin. Step 3, so moving on to our next page 9, is consultation. It's advising your client. So we're gonna advise your client, this is your time to talk. So you've asked them all the questions, you've asked them to look at the skin and tell you everything. This is your time to advise. So there's 3 things you want to look at when it comes to advising. The first thing would be correcting the current routine. So they showed you what they have, they showed you how they're using it. Was it okay? So were they using the wrong product at the wrong time? You know, sometimes clients can do things like put the moisturizer before the serum and things like that. So make sure whatever they have at home, don't kind of bin it straight away, unless it's a face wipe or something ridiculous like that. Then definitely tell them without beating around the bush, no, this is out of order. The soap and the wipes go in the bin straight away. But for everything else, they might have good products. Some of them might be products that they purchased from you before, but they may not be using them in a correct way. So this will be the time to correct the current routine, to tweak it slightly so they get most of it. Once you've done that is where you fill the gaps. So you suggest products that are missing from the routine, but that would suit their skin. And this is where I've got my little testers. I've got a whole tray of testers, and I will grab a product and I will try and kind of play a little QVC lady, where I will show them the texture through the camera, you know, show how much they should be using. So do a little blob and say, this is how much of this you'll use. You can show them how and where it will be applied. So if you're not wearing makeup yourself, show them. Do that little bit of a routine with them. And then your last step in the advising, advise on the treatment. Now, I know we don't know when the treatment will happen, but advise them on the treatment, because even with your regular clients, when have you ever had 20 minutes, half an hour to just talk skin with them? You'll often get them through the door, start doing the service and concentrating on that. So often we can fall into this trap of doing every month the same thing. This is your time to maybe look at the skin differently, look at the needs differently. So definitely recommend a treatment to do for them once the salon reopens. It's also another thing to look forward to. So while they've got the home care to do now, the treatment will definitely be a great way to ensure that they come back once the salon reopens. And now the last step, so page 10, Chloe, please. The last step, but probably the most important step, and do not miss out that step, is a sale. So we need to close this sale. You didn't spend half an hour of your day that, frankly, you could have been watching Netflix or having time with your family. You did not spend that time to just have a chit chat. This time was to save your business, and you need to close the sale. This is the step that's probably the hardest for therapists, even when we're face to face with a client. It's actually harder when we're face to face. So maybe this will be easier. Maybe this will be a great way to learn how to sell retail. And don't forget, because your clients cannot see you for a service, the retail is the only way to keep their skin going. So I would suggest saying things like, great, Susan, you know, from what you've told me, this is what I gather. When we started working on your skin, it was XYZ. Now we got it looking great and hydrated, but it looks like it might be due for a treatment soon. And as we cannot do it, I need you to help me. I need you to do these steps. So make it sound like you're a team with a client. You want to work together for them to have a great skin. You want to continue the work that you've done hands-on in the salon. You don't want that to go to waste. And I can assure you that your client doesn't want that to go to waste either. So they will do whatever you tell them. The excuse about, I don't have time because I go to work, doesn't work anymore. We all have time, and frankly, we can now have a face mask on while we're working as well. So your clients actually have a way more time to do their home care. So definitely make it sound like it's teamwork. We got the skin looking so great. We need to make sure that it stays like that while we're in lockdown, so we don't take any steps back. Because we've worked so hard to get the skin looking great, to get it where it is at the moment. So just straight away, jump into it. So which of those products you want me to post, or if you're allowed to do a drop-off, you know, just drop off on the doorstep. So make sure that is done. Allow your clients time to think. So we always need a little bit to process. make sure you've got the prices to hand, because they might ask you about the pricing of the product, so make sure you've got that. But allow them time to think. So for a minute or two, you can pretend that you're taking notes, so they can decide of what they're gonna, what products are they going to go for. And then the last step in the sale is, how would you like to pay for the suggested products? And this is important again, because for a lot of us, we have been working in a salon where clients pay with a card there and then on the card reader. So make sure you have figured out a way to for payments, for online payments. So whether it's setting up a business PayPal account, or Square account, or Stripe account, any of those online accounts, maybe just something as simple as sending them your business bank details and they can do a straightforward transfer. If any of you have the portable card machines or anything like that, you can do those over the phone. Beware that the charges will be higher than normal. So figure out a way how your clients will pay you and close it there and then. So this is not the time where you go, well, I'm going to email you the list of products with the prices. You figure it out whenever you've got time. Because once you give them the time, they're going to look at that price list. They're going to look online. And, well, sadly, you've done all of the talking. You've done the service. But as always, they might go online and get it somewhere cheaper. So close the sale there and then. Take your money straight away on the call. Once you've closed the sale, and I cannot stress this enough, once you've closed the sale, once they bought the products from you, once you've got that commitment from a client, once you've got that kind of promise of support, only then offer them what is an optional step. So if we could jump to page 11, a follow-up. So you can suggest to your client, depending on your time, you can suggest that once the products arrive, would you like to do another one-to-one where we do a mini facial together? So you can, this is where you can have the time for chit chat or whatever you normally, whatever the clients normally tell you. We all know we're therapists a lot of the times, not just beauty therapists. So offer that follow-up. You can also, I will jump back for a little bit to the sales section as well. What I would say is, you can also ask the client to maybe buy a voucher for the treatment you recommended, and say that if they buy a voucher for the treatment you recommended, you will offer them priority booking. So as soon as the salon reopens, and as soon as you've got your date, they will be the first ones you will call to secure their booking. So they will have dibs. So yes, do that. The sale also, add not only the products, but add the prepayment for the treatment after the lockdown. Now we're going to follow up. So suggest a guided mini facial session, one-to-one call. If you feel like you won't have time for those, maybe set up a closed Facebook group that will be exclusively open to those who have those consultations. That's where you might be posting information about how to do mini facials. Make sure there's content there that it's not posted on any other of your media. But that's a good way to kind of, once they've done this consultation and they bought products from you, they prepaid for a treatment, then they become a member of the secret club of your salon. So something definitely to think about. So this is my take on the online consultations. Page 12, please, Chloe. So I will leave you with the quote from Bill Gates. No excuses. This is not time for excuses anymore. We're a service-based industry. This is tougher times than ever for us, but we can get through this. Just have to adjust the way we work, but our clients will love this. I can tell you straight away that my clients already, I've had a few phone calls, a few consultations last week, and it's brilliant. They are absolutely loving the fact that they can still get my one-to-one attention. So definitely definitely consider offering online consultations. And I will leave you with my last page. If I could jump to page 13. Well, that's a nice number, 13, lucky 13 pages. Let's connect. So you can see on the screen details of my salon. We're on Instagram and Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn if you want to connect. But I would love to hear your stories. And if you want to know anything more about what I do and how I do it, just drop me a message on one of my social media platforms. But that's it from me. I don't know if Amanda or someone from PB will jump on now, because I know we had some questions.
Thank you so much for that,
so let's see if any of you have been asking questions on social media on YouTube.
Justyna, can you hear me? Justyna, can you hear me? Justyna, can you hear me?
Hi, Amanda. I can't hear you at the moment.
Oh, no. Technical difficulties again.
Hopefully we can get this. Do you want to type in the questions, because I can see the chat?
Yeah, so I will type a couple in for you.
Okay, so I've got a question from Adele. Any ideas of how to keep the business flowing for those clients who are unable to use the internet? I have a lot of clients like this. I mean, it will be harder. It would be nice if you could see them face to face on a FaceTime call, but you can always do those consultations as a chat over the phone. So obviously you won't be able to see your client. But it's like I mentioned, it's not like you will really see their skin. So maybe still ask the questions, but do it through a phone call. Can you charge shipping fees? Another question from Audrey. Do you charge shipping fees to your clients, or are you doing that complimentary? So I've decided, Audrey, that I am doing it for free. I mean, I'm already fighting online retailers and I'm selling my products at no discount price, basically. So I will offer free shipping or drop off in my local area. Gets me out of the house. Another question, how long do you take for an online consultation? So at the moment, I've been reserving half an hour for the call. Most of my consultations we've run with the clients for about 20-25 minutes. So that's been my timing so far. Any more questions? Melissa? Any more tips on how to get in touch with customers, how to encourage them to order? I have, so my customers, it depends on your customers basically. My customer base, different people are on different channels. So some of my clients will be Facebook and Instagram. There's a lot that read my email newsletter. So this is the time for you to look at your client base and figure out where they are. I would also say that maybe just a one-to-one email or message. So all of those clients that, let's say, for this week just gone or for next week that you're cancelling, because you have to call them to cancel or you have to email them to cancel, this is where you would say, oh, by the way, I've launched this new service. So advertise your new service during those calls, because all of those people were due to see you. So it will be a great time to touch base with them that way and just say, well, we can't do your facial, but you want to arrange a one-to-one FaceTime in the same time as your appointment was. Wendy, how much do you charge for online consultation? We used to do it for free at my place. Hi, Wendy. So at the moment, I'm doing them for free because I'm expecting a sale. Now, if you think that you don't want to be as blunt, I mean, I never found retail sales or product sales daunting. I love talking about products and recommending products. But if you find that daunting, you can say £20 but redeemable on products, or £40 but redeemable on products. So it's entirely up to you, but I do them for free. Monica, if the client has an allergy but does not mention it and after using the recommended products has an allergy crisis, what is our place to this? So this is exactly the same as it would be normally. Check with your insurer, because I did check. I'm still covered for product indemnity. I think that's the name of insurance. So, you know, it's still the same. If they bought it in the salon or if they bought it online, you always do the same consultation. You always ask the same questions. You always ask for allergies. So check your product indemnity. Isabel, what if we work in a hotel spa and we work with different brands? How should we manage the sales? It will be entirely up to you. Now, I'm expecting, if you're a therapist, you're probably on furlough leave, which means that your employer hasn't got the right to ask you to work. This will probably work more for people that have smaller businesses rather than big hotel spas. In the hotel spa, there might be 1 or 2 members that will be designated to do that, but it will be up to checking with the management, really. I'm sorry, yeah. So it will be very difficult to figure out in the bigger setting and bigger scale. Because if you're not allowed to go, like I'm still allowed to go and visit my business and grab the products and post them. But if you're in a big hotel, you're probably not. Ben, what have you done for your staff during this coronavirus pandemic, not being able to open? Have you had to furlough? Yes, so all of my staff are currently on leave. So I'm the only one keeping things going. It is optional, so I cannot ask them to work, but I have said to them, listen, if you want to join the professional beauty, for example, virtual beauty week, do that. Was it easy to set up? Do you mean to follow the staff, the leave? I ask my accountants to do it. I mean, it's anything with taxes, leaves, payroll, all of that is handled by my accountants. It's a minefield at the best of times, now even harder. So I leave them to do it. But I know that the government, the 80% claim, we're not sure how to claim them yet. My accountants don't know how to claim them. So we're still awaiting. So my staff have been paid their normal wage up until the closing day. And we're waiting what happens next. That was the last question. Brilliant. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining my session. Hope you enjoyed, and I do hope to see you. I'll leave you with Amanda.
Okay, guys, just to let you know, that was an amazing talk by Justyna, by the way. Thank you so much for coming on. We have one more session today as part of our Virtual Beauty Week. It's taking place at 6 p.m. and it is a live virtual yoga class with Gladys Richard, a yoga instructor for Urban. So if you fancy doing a bit of physical and mental mindfulness, tune in at 6 p.m. and we'd love to see you. Otherwise, hopefully we'll watch some more sessions this week. And thank you so much once again to Justyna. That was brilliant. Thank you, everyone. Bye.